The rain had been falling for hours, drumming against the dusty windows of Martha's Diner, a small roadside cafe on the outskirts of a quiet American town. The neon sign outside flickered faintly, promising hot meals, warm coffee, open 24 hours. Inside, the warm scent of fresh pie and sizzling bacon mingled with the sound of clinking dishes. Behind the counter stood Anna Miller, a young waitress in her mid-20s, her brown hair pulled back in a neat ponytail, her eyes tired yet kind. She had been working double shifts for weeks, trying to make ends meet after her father's medical bills had drained nearly every cent she had. Despite her exhaustion, she always wore a smile for the customers. A smile costs nothing, her father used to say. But it can mean everything. That night, just as Anna was refilling a trucker's coffee, the door creaked open. A gust of cold air swept in, and with it came a boy, maybe 12 or 13 years old, soaked to the bone, shivering, and clutching a tattered backpack. His clothes were torn and far too thin for the storm outside. His shoes, caked in mud, looked like they had walked 1,000 weary miles. The trucker glanced at the boy and shook his head. "Another runaway," he muttered. Anna's eyes softened. She had seen homeless men wander in before, but never someone so young. The boy stood hesitantly near the door, like a stray unsure if he was welcome. Customers looked up, some with pity, others with annoyance. No one spoke. Anna put down the coffee pot and walked over. "Hey there," she said gently, crouching a little to meet his eyes. "You look like you could use something warm. Why don't you sit down?" The boy's lips trembled, but he said nothing. Slowly, he shuffled to a corner booth, his head lowered, as though afraid of being told to leave. Anna grabbed a menu, though she knew he probably couldn't afford anything. "What'll it be?" she asked kindly. He glanced at the menu but didn't answer. His hands trembled against the table, and she noticed how thin his wrists were. Anna smiled. "Tell you what, I'll bring you something. On the house, okay." His eyes flickered up, wide with disbelief, then quickly dropped again. Minutes later, she placed a steaming bowl of chicken noodle soup, a grilled cheese sandwich, and a tall glass of milk in front of him. The boy stared at the food like it was a dream. Then, with shaky hands, he began to eat, slowly at first, then hungrily, as if he hadn't eaten a proper meal in days. Anna pretended not to notice the tears welling in his eyes as he ate. She simply refilled his milk glass and brought him a slice of warm apple pie, saying cheerfully, "No meal at Martha's Diner is complete without dessert." When the boy finally looked up, his face was red from trying not to cry. He whispered, "Why are you being nice to me?" Anna felt a lump in her throat. "Because everyone deserves kindness, especially on nights like this." He didn't answer, but something in his expression shifted, a mixture of relief and disbelief, like someone had just handed him back a piece of hope he thought was lost forever. The night wore on, and eventually the boy dozed off in the booth, his head resting on his arms. Anna let him sleep. She brought over an extra blanket from the back and draped it over his shoulders. The other customers came and went, some shaking their heads, others offering quiet smiles at Anna's gesture. When her shift ended at dawn, the boy was still asleep. Anna hesitated. She couldn't just leave him out in the storm again. Carefully, she nudged his shoulder. "Hey, sweetheart," she whispered. "The sun's up." The boy stirred, blinking in confusion. He looked at her with wary eyes, like someone who had learned not to trust too easily. Anna took a deep breath. "Do you have somewhere safe to go?" He shook his head. Her heart ached. She thought of her own younger brother, safe at home, and imagined him lost and alone like this boy. The idea made her chest tighten. "Well," she said softly, "you can't stay here forever." But, she hesitated, weighing her own struggles against the need in front of her. "If you want, you can come by when you're hungry. I'll make sure you get something to eat." The boy's lips parted, but no words came out. He just nodded, slowly, like he was afraid the offer would disappear if he moved too quickly. And so it began. Over the next few weeks, the boy, whose name she learned was Eli, returned often. Always quiet, always polite, never asking for more than he was given. Anna fed him meals, slipped him extra sandwiches for the road, and sometimes tucked $1 or $2 into his pocket when he wasn't looking. Little by little, Eli began to talk. Not much, but enough for Anna to piece together fragments of his story. His parents were gone. He had bounced between foster homes, some harsh, some neglectful. Eventually, he had run away, convinced no one wanted him. He had been wandering ever since, drifting from town to town, surviving on scraps and luck. Anna listened, her heart breaking with every word. She never pushed him for details he wasn't ready to share. Instead, she offered what she could: food, warmth, and a safe place where, at least for a little while, he wasn't invisible. But Anna had no idea who Eli truly was, or how this small act of kindness would come back to change her life in ways she could never imagine.